studio. It's good to have you join us. First, the headlines. President expresses optimism that insurgency will soon be over as he directs security agents to be more proactive. Equatorial Guinea First Lady commends Aisha Buhari and launches Foundation for Women, Youth and Children. Now, bandit attacked villages in Katsina. President Muhammadu Buhari pleads against reprisal. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, traders at the popular Akmombo market in Lagos again witnessed another fire outbreak this Sunday as 6 containers loaded with different alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages exploded in fire. Diana Ajale reports that the fire was curtailed through the effort of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency and other related agencies on ground.
Lagos State is a commercial hub with over 20 million people, but yet faced with frequent fire outbreak and building collapse, especially around the market areas. The fire outbreak, which occurred Sunday morning, affected 6 containers of various drinks. According to eyewitnesses, it was as a result of overheating from the containers.
We don't think it's all that much. We are even scared that all this place is in danger. So, but by the grace of God, the thing is just few.
We thank God for Lagos State Fire Service. They came at the right time.
Director General, Lagos State Emergency Management Agency advised the public to be mindful of how they store flammable goods.
The fire affected about 6 containers, and we're able to curtail the spread of the fire, and you can see that we are on top of the challenges and we are putting off the fire.
No casualty was recorded before the fire was curtailed. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Now, the House of Representatives Committee on Disaster Preparedness has raised concern over the merger budget allocation of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, considering the magnitude of the disaster being experienced in the country. Chairman of the committee, Abdulrahim Tunji, stated this when he paid a courtesy visit to the National Emergency Management Agency headquarters as part of his oversight function. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
Disaster all over the world has continued to ravage human existence in all ramification without prior notice as to when and how or where it may affect. The management of these usually requires high level of technical know-how as well as huge monetary intervention. In Nigeria, for instance, prominence among disasters being experienced in the country are flood, fire outbreak and collapsed building as well as insurgency. These oversight function in NEMA, the committee chairman said, is not to witch hunt, but rather to find possible ways of improving the capacity of the agency to meet up with challenges ahead.
According to the definition of emergency, there is no notification. It happens when you least expected. As a legislator, we need to fine-tune the law that established NEMA to make it more effective.
Very fruitful discussions, and I think some of the gaps created by the act, they are promising to handle it.
Some members of the committee advise the agency to always respond immediately when a disaster occurs in any part of the country. The meeting adopted the new approach of NEMA to disaster management from reactive to proactive, which will now give priority to prevention rather than relief material distribution. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Many thanks, Ilyasu. Now, armed bandits have killed no fewer than 30 people and destroyed properties worth millions of naira at Danswa and Dankwa villages of Basari, local government area of Katsina State. Abdul Malik Hassan reports that the bandit stormed the village at midnight Friday.
The residents of the two villages have since the emergence of the insurgency been living in a relative peace. However, the attack by the armed bandits on the residents on Friday have changed the mood of the two villages, Dankar and Zonwa. As at the time NTA News visited the villages, they were in total silence, the remaining people looking gloomy and brooding over the unfortunate midnight attack. The inferno led to the death of 13 people, including women and infant children, and remaining 17 trying to escape the fire were shot dead in the villages. They stormed the villages, locked down the residents while sleeping in their houses and set the houses ablaze. They destroyed our properties and now we are homeless. NTA News observed that some of those left have fled the villages to another safe place. The Katsina State Police Commissioner Sanusi Buba visited the area to assess the level of damage.
And no network here, and then also the distance and the bad road. That notwithstanding, they were able to come and engage them to a large extent, and they got scared and left. But before they could arrive, unfortunately, some of these houses you can see were set ablaze. It looks it's most unfortunate. His Excellency has done his best in ensuring that sanity is brought to bear.
He said critical investigation will be carried out to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. The attack was coming less than 2 months since the state government restricted the motorcycles from the hours of 7 p.m. in the evening to 6 o'clock in the morning.
In a related development, President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the latest round of revenge attack on farmers by bandits in Danswa village and Batsari local government area of Katsina State, reacting to the killing over the weekend in which the many homesteads were razed by fire. The president warned that no one in the country has a right to take laws into his hands by way of self-help or revenge. He adds that local communities that catch bandits should hand them over to the law enforcement authorities instead of meting out capital punishment, which leads to a circle of revenge and counter-revenge. Speaking through a senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the president urged leaders and local government authorities to continue their effort in partnership with law enforcement agencies by yielding positive results and the pace between farmers and herders. The president also encouraged authorities to investigate and deal with any breach that occurs, saying there is no place for violence in a decent society. President Muhammadu Buhari prayed to God and the families and the soul of the repose of the victims. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed the conviction that with far-reaching measures put in place by his administration, sooner than later, Boko Haram insurgency will soon be curtailed. This was while receiving in audience the renowned leader of the Tijaniya movement of Nigeria, Sheikh Government will not relent until the menace is brought under control. He directed the nation and the military and the service chiefs to be more proactive and decisive and, if need be, ruthless in rooting out effectively and catching the element in the country. President, however, called to Nigerians to show more understanding and support with intelligence and prayers for normalcy to be restored in the nation's polity. They reassured citizenry that the justice will not be compromised in the implementation of the next level agenda. This, the president said, is not only to give self-belonging to Nigerians, but also to guarantee the desired unity, stability, prosperity in the country. Sheikh Dahiru Usman Bauchi was accompanied to the State House by some of the children, commiserated with the president over the recent killing of Nigerians by Boko Haram in Borno State. The president that members of the Tijaniya movement of Nigeria in continuing to support the genuine effort of Nigeria and praying for the divine intervention. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that during the visit, special prayers were offered for the nation and its leaders. Moving on, the advocacy towards improving welfare of women, youths and children in Africa has been boosted with the launch of the foundation of the First Lady of Equatorial Guinea. The First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, who was a special guest at the event, was overwhelmed with the initiative, considering the fact that the two First Ladies have mutual interest in serving humanity. SEDA's correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
The desire of improving the status of vulnerable groups, vast majority women and children, is the central objective of the Nigeria's First Lady Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. Collaboration towards achieving this goal is paramount. Therefore, the invitation of the Equatorial Guinean First Lady Constancia Monge Nzokomo for the launch of her foundation is a step in that regard. On arrival at the Equatorial Guinea International Airport in Malabo, the First Lady of Nigeria was received by the Nigerian ambassador to the Republic of Equatorial Guinea, Toko Ali Gonglong, and proceeded to the venue of the launch of the program tagged Constancia Monge Nzokomo Foundation. With all efforts centered towards upgrading the living standards of women and children in Africa, the First Lady of Nigeria had all the stage to share her successes in improving the lives of Nigerian women and children through the Aisha Buhari Foundation and Future Assured program.
Over the last 4 years, we have focused on the well-being of women, children, and vulnerable people, especially in the areas of health, education, empowerment, protection against abuse, supporting government actions, and partnering with relevant stakeholders. I have embarked on the construction of maternity complexes across the 6 zones of Nigeria, contributing to the reduction of maternal and infant mortality. We have 2 standard facilities already completed and put into use in 2 of the zones.
While expressing gratitude for honoring the invitation, the First Lady of Equatorial Guinea, Constancia Monge Nzokomo, reaffirmed her commitment to the cause of women and children, stressing that she will continue to collaborate with the Nigeria's First Lady and her initiatives, which serves as a model. The event was attended by dignitaries from across the globe, including the President of the Equatorial Guinea, Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbazogo. In Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Many thanks, Aliu Kabir. Now, to further strengthen the agricultural sector for maximum output, the UN Women is introducing an empowerment scheme that will harness potentials inherent in rice value chain in Ebonyi State. Chika Okori witnessed the launch in our report.
Targets to profile about 10,000 women through cooperative arrangements within 1 year. This UN Women Flagship Scheme will provide modern agricultural techniques, improve seedlings and post-harvest infrastructure to reduce wastages, especially in rice value chain. For the beneficiaries, the project is a dream come true, as drudgery will soon be a thing of the past.
But I'm very grateful that I'm one of the beneficiaries. This program will enable us to get more.
On behalf of the governor, Dr. Kelechi Igwe wants the development partners to take into cognizance the peculiarities of Ebonyi, where women empowerment has advanced through resolute efforts matched with visible actions.
We're doing well in trying to elevate our women to the status of entrepreneurs. As a state government, we shall give all the support that UN Women in Nigeria requires.
Mainstreaming women who contribute over 60% agricultural workforce will result in reducing food insecurity, promote employment opportunities, income generation, enhance the standard of living, as well as strengthen the federal government's economic recovery and growth plan.
This particular program that we're launching today is part of our work here to help the government of Nigeria and Ebonyi State in particular to advance the SDGs.
The program steering committee was inaugurated to build stronger synergy among stakeholders towards promoting women economic empowerment through climate-resilient agribusiness and closing gender gap. In Abakaliki, Chika Ukore, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International at 7, broadcast live from the nation's capital, Abuja. A break beckons. When we come back, there'll be more news. Do stay tuned.
Your information dey important, just like your identity. Na the only way we fit take hala you o. Make you go browse easy.gotvafrica.com. Sign in with your IUC number and mobile number and scroll down to personal details and address. Then check well to see say everything bam. You fit change the one wey not correct. To finish everything, just click the save button and it don finish.
Thank you. I make sure say my phone number dey correct. That's not why GoTV fit call me make I come collect my own awoof.
Angel, time for my phone in that way because now my correct phone number dey for book.
GoTV, live it, love it.
Now look me again, no. Make you go do your own.
The Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, cordially requests the honor of your esteemed presence at the unveiling of the Green Chamber magazine. Date, Wednesday, 19th February, venue, National Assembly Complex. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Guest of honor, Senator Ahmed Lawan, President of the Senate. Chairman, Alhaji Aminu Masari, Executive Governor of Katsina State. Keynote speakers, Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, Advocate of High Courts of Kenya and Tanganyika, Professor Magnus L. Pakol. This also serves as an invitation to all state governors, service chiefs, honorable ministers, heads of agencies, State House of Assembly speakers, and House of Representatives members. The Green Chamber magazine, telling our story, changing the narrative. RSVP 0805-885-2020.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Jimmy Prayosiva, has called on the people of the state to show restraint in the aftermath of the recent event in the state. In a statement, the minister, who acknowledges the regrettable nature of the recent development in the state, urged the people to resist any attempt that would disrupt peaceful coexistence and stability. While calling on the party members to remain calm, the minister said efforts are being made at redressing the situation through all necessary legal means. Now, the Nigerian Air Force has graduated another set of 1,079 personnel after undergoing 6-month military training. Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, says the training and retraining of the personnel underscores the desire of the force to win the fight against insurgency and other forms of criminality in the country. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports.
This is the moment they have been waiting for after 24 weeks of intensive military training. The recruits are equipped with the required skills to discharge their responsibility of protecting the territorial integrity of the country. The reviewing officer of the parade and chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, re-emphasized the readiness of the force to bring to an end attacks by Boko Haram in the northeast.
The Nigerian Air Force had made some remarkable strides in its restructuring efforts. The establishment of the Special Operations Command was carefully considered to address the challenges of asymmetric warfare, such as the one posed by Boko Haram terrorists.
A number of prestigious awards were presented to the personnel who distinguished themselves, including Chief of the Air Staff Award won by Recruit Muhammad. Meanwhile, to provide a decent accommodation for the personnel, the Chief of Air Staff inaugurated 3 blocks of flats built for airmen instructors. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Remarkable feat right there by the Nigerian Air Force with the graduate of another set of 2077. Now, moving on. It's an organization with more than 35,000 clubs globally and a membership strength of more than 1.2 million in 200 countries celebrating its Family Day. This is no other but Rotary International, whose shared belief is to ensure a better society for all through selfless service in areas of health, education, sanitation and empowerment. Olayinka Ojo was at the 2020 Family Day of Rotary, and this was what he brought back.
This is the 17th year. The Family of Rotary Day was instituted by the first African Rotary International President, Jonathan Majiagbe, who also used the day to administer polio vaccine to children, as Nigeria looks forward to becoming a polio-free nation in less than 6 months.
That's why we have community projects, and indeed our flagship program of Polio Plus is to make sure we wipe polio from the face of the earth.
Because when you leverage on strength of numbers, you can do a lot.
The day enables friends and members of Rotary to express love to the world, particularly the less privileged, as they engage in series of activities for all people regardless of class, age, gender and ethnicity. With love still in the air, some of the children expressed excitement, thinking that they were forgotten.
Like today is great. When I actually came here, I thought everything would be like so boring.
Being here is fun.
The evening climaxed with a tug of war and a novelty match between Team Polio Plus and Team Hepatitis Zero, as government and its partners work towards complete eradication of the disease. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Olayinka. And up next is The World in 6 Days, and let's join Uche Gochuku for details.
A warm welcome. Sudanese authorities agreed to hand over ex-president Omar al-Bashir and all those wanted by the International Criminal Court. The commitment came at peace talks between Sudan's government and rebel groups from the Darfur region. The former president faces charges of genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity over the conflict that broke out in the country's Darfur region in 2003. Ethiopia's parliament in the week passed a controversial law aimed at curbing hate speech and disinformation on mainstream and social media. Authorities say the law was necessary to deal with a surge in violence recently witnessed across the country. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres told African leaders that it is time to remove Sudan from the list of state sponsors of terrorism. He said the UN will drum up international support that will enable the country to overcome its challenges. Sudan is being welcomed back into the international fold following the toppling of the former president Omar al-Bashir last year. In another development, UN aid agencies met with donor nations in Brussels on Thursday to discuss a freeze in aid to Yemen in response to demands by Houthi rebels for a 2% levy on supplies. The United Nations agencies have held 2 days of talks as they grapple with interference by the Houthi to aid distribution in areas under the Iran-backed group's control. Warring rivals in South Sudan have been warned against taking unilateral action after talks to try and end 6 years of fighting hit a gridlock in the course of the week. Reports say the US, UK and Norway have told President Salva Kiir and his rival Riek Machar to agree on the number of federal states, a major sticking point in the long-drawn negotiations or risk sabotaging the peace process. They have until 22nd February to form a transitional government. Moving on, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan and U.S. President Donald Trump exchanged views on an immediate halt to fighting in Syria's Idlib province on Saturday. The two leaders agreed by phone that Syrian government forces attacks in the northwestern province, which killed 13 Turkish troops, were unacceptable. Meanwhile, Turkish and northern Cyprus officials met in an abandoned town wrecked by war to discuss potentially reopening the area after 46 years. A move that Ankara said was a historic opportunity to bring tourism and economic benefits. From the UK comes a report that Sajid Javid resigned as Chancellor as Boris Johnson carries out a post-Brexit cabinet reshuffle. Mr. Javid rejected an order to fire his team of 8, saying no self-respecting minister could accept such a condition. He was replaced as Chancellor by Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Rishi Sunak, who was a junior housing minister. And the World Health Organization's Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus announced the first vaccine targeting China's coronavirus could be available in 18 months, and the virus was renamed COVID-19. Meanwhile, China's Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs said the country is confident that the coronavirus epidemic will be over soon and that the impact will be only temporary on its economy. China removed several senior officials over their handling of the scourge. Finally, all of the bushfires in the Australian state New South Wales are now considered contained. Fire officials said development is partly due to heavy rain and severe storms led to flash flooding in Queensland, where a 75-year-old man was reported dead. That's it on this segment of the news. I am Uche Ugochukwu. Thanks for staying tuned.
And sports update is next. Let's join Amazi Marcus for details.